me get this right. Make sure everything's right. Yeah, it's good, y'all. Get the volume up a little bit. Boom. There we go. Out for my walk, you know. Haha. Give some people some time to get up in here. And you can check out the topic that we're talking about today. Talk about KRS-One. We're going to talk about 1241. We're going to talk about Rochester. And all of this happens in Rochester. Beautiful morning as usual. May God bless you. May God keep you. As you come on in, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you're on the rewatch, hit that like button, hit that share button, and subscribe to the channel if you're on the rewatch. All right? Let me know who you are as you come in. It's early. It's early. I'm cooking early today. Of course, we're going to talk about our 2026 campaign. I'll mention a little bit of that. Got a couple of lives coming up in January. We got the end of the year. Hip Hopology year in review on the 31st. So welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Smash that like button. I see we got a couple of people in here. Hit the like button. Welcome to Hip Hopology, the study of hip hop. Live and direct. No fancy edits. Just straight up live as I'm on my little journey and my little walk. Hit that like button, y'all. As you come in, it costs you nothing. Doesn't cost you a thing. Just hit the like button. Share this and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Remember to be respectful in the chat. The birds are singing. It's a beautiful day. As we talk about KRS-One. 1241. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. You'll hear it as we get into the content. Always like to give it about the 5-minute mark. If you're watching on the rewatch, just go ahead and scroll to the 5-minute mark. I hope you're having a beautiful morning, a blessed morning. It's a beautiful day to be alive, man. Listen, any day above ground is a good day. So I'm blessed this morning. I'm not in the hospital. I'm healthy. I'm alive. It's a beautiful day. It's a good day. It's a good day. So let's talk about some upcoming things that we got going on. The first thing I really want to share with you is the campaign, the 2026 campaign. And calling it the 50K campaign. We want to see if we can get 50,000 subscribers in 2026. It's very simple, y'all. It's so simple. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button. That's all you have to do. It is so simple. Just hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share. That's all it takes. So we want to ask everybody that rocks with the channel, everybody that supports what we do, to please share the channel. Share the channel, share the content with 10 people that you know would appreciate the history of hip hop. These little kids are riding on their electric dirt bikes. But anyway, share this with 10 people that you know that would appreciate a deep dive into the history of hip hop. That's how we get this done. That's how we get the channel moving forward. That's how we get the channel, hitting the numbers so that more people can see the content. Keep in mind, it's not about the numbers for the numbers' sake. It's about so more people can see the content. Okay? So all it takes is you, as a supporter of the channel, just sharing. That's all it takes. Sharing it with 10 people and asking these 10 people that you know personally to subscribe to the channel. Okay? And asking them, right? These are relationships that you have. Okay? And so we want to, the goal is 50K. If it goes up further than that, that's a beautiful thing. Let's get it. The sky's the limit. But I want to ask you to help me out in sharing the content. There are still people who have not seen the documentaries that we've done. They've not seen the Latin breakdown. They've not seen the Bronx, the home of hip hop. They've not even seen the channel. So I want to encourage you to really go ahead and share this with people that you know are like-minded and would love to, dive into the history a little bit more. That's what I would say. So the 50K campaign is on and popping right now. And I'm going to ask you to help me out. Help me out. If you're watching this and you're new to the channel, please help me out by hitting the subscribe button. This is a kind of an impromptu live. So I usually do these lives as I'm going for my walk. So, I'm not in a studio anywhere. I'm just out here talking. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And again, if you hit the subscribe button, please share this with 10 people that you know would benefit from watching the content. Okay? And encourage them subscribe to the channel. That's how we do this. Okay? We do this together. All right? What else is coming up? Okay, the 31st we have, and again, shout out to my channel members. If you are subscribed to the channel and you have not gotten into channel membership, joining channel membership, I want to encourage you to join channel membership for those exclusives. And 2026 is going to be the year that I'm going to do way more exclusives for my channel members, right? They deserve it. So that's going to be the year where I do that a lot more. And so still getting to know this whole thing and this whole animal. So, bear with me, channel members, but shout out to all of my channel members that are part of the inner workings of hip-hopology, the study of hip-hop. And so I want to just shout those people out. So the 31st, we're going to be doing a year in review. And I'm not going to talk about what we're going to talk about, but, You need to tune in to that year in review and check out what it is we're going to be sharing. Coming up in the new year, we have a couple of lives coming up. We have a live with MC Sticky. Just look him up. Just look him up. MC Sticky, STIK-E. Okay? Look him up. And then we have a live with MC TNT. And we're going to be talking about his story and what he brought to the game. All right? That is going to be a phenomenal interview. And I'm looking to get more interviews with people within the new year. Of course, let's talk a little bit about the book. I'm trying to get to a little spot up here. My battery life, excuse me. My battery life is kind of dwindling, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get in what we could get in. I do want to tell that story about KRS-One, and that's why many of you are here. So let me get to my little spot that's right up the way. But again, I'm doing some really cool interviews. If you know of anybody that wants to do some interviews, that wants to come on the channel and, share their story, please inbox me. Let me know. Okay? I would love to be able to interview them. Of course, tonight, we're going to be doing we're going to be honoring my brother, Tyrone Fly Ty Williams. We're going to be honoring him tonight in a kind of a live memorial service. Let me set this phone down a little bit. Boom. Boom. Yeah, so we're going to be honoring Fly Ty tonight on the channel. Please tune in. Just go to the thumbnail and tune in tonight. And we're going to have some special guests. We're going to have Microphone Prince. We're going to have Master OC of the legendary Fearless 4. We're going to have the Mighty Mike C of the legendary Fearless 4. Myself. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat. So people who knew, if you personally knew Fly Ty, those are the people that I want to come up and share a story. So I've hit, I've done a blast on this yesterday. So, all right, guys, listen. Before my battery dies, let me take you through the story a little bit. You take off this jacket; it's a little warm. Shout out to everybody that's in here this morning on a beautiful Monday morning. Shout out to you. Grace and peace to the family. Tariq Sultan, truth teacher. What's up, brother? So it was in the 80s. I remember I was hanging out with my man. Excuse me. The allergies are going crazy out here. But I was hanging out with my man, Miguel. He goes by the name of the Great Pozo, Zulu King chapter leader. I was hanging out with him. We were hanging out with my other friend, Mr. Clay. Smiley from Brooklyn. Mr. Clay's from Queens. Pozo's from the Bronx. So we're all hanging out, and we get some information that there's going to be a rapper that's showing up at this spot that we went to frequently in Rochester called the Calabash. And we went to this spot frequently, and we found out through a mutual friend by the name of Lloyd Murphy, famous Ebony Dukes, the Rubble Kings. And Lloyd Murphy was our DJ. And so he went by the name of Lightning Murphy. And Lloyd told us there's going to be this rapper there with his DJ. Come on out, check it out. It was like a midweek. There was nobody in the building. It was really empty. And I remember we walked in. And we see this tall, skinny kid with his DJ. And it turns out the kid was called Blastmaster KRS-One. Had no idea who he was. He had a little record in his hand, an LP, and they were promoting their single that was called Success. And the name of the crew wasn't BDP. They were actually called 1241. And there's a story behind that, and I'm not sure entirely of the whole story. But so they did their little single. They did their little joint, and then, KRS goes to the DJ booth. Lightning is cutting up some breaks, and KRS gets on the mic and he starts spitting. Well, that was like the first time we ever saw KRS. But as time went on, we kept seeing him in Rochester. We see him walk around. We see him at different spots, and he would always be shopping his little 12-inch single, right? But he was an MC from the Bronx. And so that was like the first time I really ran into him. I did not know him personally. I think Lightning Murphy really got to know him a little bit better, but I didn't. We didn't. We saw him. We hung out. That was the end of it. And then they opened up this roller skating rink down in, if you know Rochester, Clinton Avenue, right by the Red Wings Stadium. And they opened up this roller skating rink, and graph writers from all over the city, me included, were doing pieces in the rink before it opened up. And I remember the opening. Guess who shows up? KRS. Guess who gets on the mic at the roller skating rink? KRS, right? Scott is with him. So we would see them from time to time. It was kind of interesting. And then a couple of years later, I remember walking into a record store and seeing this really catchy album cover. And it was called Criminal Minded. And I looked and I'm like, yo, that's them dudes that was in Rochester. Now, by this time, I'm in Rhode Island by this time. And so I looked, I turned the album cover over, and yeah, it was them, right? They're giving shout outs to WDKX, they're giving shout outs to Rochester, they're giving shout outs to, on the song. I think the song is called Forgive Me, but it's called Super Ho, where they do a little rendition of Super Sperm. And KRS spits that line up in Rochester, known as DKX. WDKX, now DK, and he goes on, he talks about KM in the AM, which was a a disc jockey at WDKX, along with people like Renee Hale and those people. So yeah, it was an interesting thing to be able to see him in his essence before superstardom. And if I ever got the opportunity to interview him, I'm definitely going to talk about that place, the Calabash in Rochester, where he rocked the mic. And this was before fame and fortune. It was a great thing. It was a great thing. All right, I wanted to just share that with you. I'm going to head back. We're going to just head back, see what some people are saying up in the chat. Again, these impromptu lives, they are here to tell stories, and I'll do my other lives in a more professional manner, but that's okay. We're just out here walking, man. We out here walking. Yeah. What's up? Let me see. True Teacher says there's a lot of channels that pay for subs. What he's doing is providing knowledge that people will have for future. Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Truth. Thank you. I hold to my word, y'all. If you're on my Facebook, if you're on my Instagram, if you're on my TikTok, you know what my word is going into 2026. There is nothing left to prove. We're just going to tell the story. We're not going to try and prove the story. We're going to tell the story. And that's it. And that's it. That alleviates a lot of nonsense. So that's what's up, man. Bringing you some history and talking about anything. Anybody got anything they want to share as I'm on my way back to the crib? Anything you want to share that we could chop up while I'm on the move. If you're watching this now and you're coming in, just rewind it a little bit. Hear the story of KRS-One in Rochester before the fame and the fortune at Club Calabash, which was actually Calabash. We used to go to Calabash all the time. And again, it was me, my man Pozo, my man Smiley, my man Mr. Clay, my man my man Monty from Bronx River. We used to go to Calabash all the time. And Calabash was a reggae spot. So Smiley was really the reggae dude. He was from Brooklyn, a dance hall fiend. And those are some memories, man. We hung out with our people, Dana, bunch of people, man, bunch of people. So anyway, anything y'all want to talk about? Truth Teacher says, I sent you a clip on Facebook to speak to the lie that Latin music wasn't popular in the world back in the day. Well, who told that lie? That's interesting. I never heard that. Who told that lie? Yeah, my battery's about to die, y'all, so it might be a short one today. But Latin music was very extremely popular. I mean, we see this during the Palladium era. We see this with the musicians from Birdland coming to the Palladium to rock out, to dance. It was extremely popular. And again, we're talking about the New York melting pot. That's what we're really talking about. But when you try to bring stuff like that to the South and those southern states, which were going, through a lot of, their own turmoils in the South, to see a mixture of people come together, where in New York at the Palladium, you saw, Cubans, you saw Puerto Ricans, you saw Jews, you saw Italians, you saw African Americans all together. You didn't see that. You weren't going to see that in the South. So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I see you, Dark Knight. I hear what you're saying, man. Listen, do you have anything constructive to add to the conversation? Do you have anything constructive to add to the conversation? That's all I want to know. Okay, so Truth Teacher says that clip was a Greek dancer who grew up in Egypt, and she was very popular in Egyptian dance and stage. On screen, Egyptians were very much into Latin music then and still are. That's interesting. Interesting to know. Interesting to know. Yeah, Randy, behave yourself, man. Behave yourself. So anyway, man, you know, as I said before, I'm going to stop engaging in these racially charged talks. I don't have time for it. I don't have the energy for it. I'm just going to tell our story, and I'm going to tell the story. That's all. It's a good thing. But if anybody has anything constructive to add, please do so. Please do so. All right, so Dark Knight, I'm going to get you up out of here, man. So you're blocked. See you later. Let me see how I'm going to block this dude, Dark Knight. Put this using time out. Yeah. We have enough turmoil in the world, man, to have to deal with people coming in and, you know. And the same goes for you, Randy. Stop antagonizing, bro. The same goes for you, brother. Stop saying dumb stuff like that. That was ignorant, bro. I'm serious, brother. Stop saying that stuff. Bah! Bah! Anyway, tune in tonight, y'all. Tune in tonight for the Fly Tie honoring as we share some videos. We're going to let some of our guests share some personal stories. And, you know, I don't know how long it's going to be, but we want to take a minute to honor this man who did so much for music, for specifically hip hop music. And, you know, I personally appreciated his time. He was really graceful, really just a good dude, man. You know, at first didn't know me from Adam, but just was willing to chop it up. And after that, it was as if we knew each other, you know. And I think the last time I spoke with him was in 2024, the end of 2024 was the last time I had a phone conversation with him. And it was really sad, you know. I know his health was deteriorating, and so, you know, it's important, man. A lot of the pioneers are sickly. A lot of the pioneers are not well physically. And so those are some things that really need to be discussed as well, man. How do we take care of our temple? How do we take care of ourselves? The importance of you know, exercise, the importance of sleep, the importance of, you know, the way we eat, you know, what you are is what you eat. The importance, I mean, it really stems from our eating. I'm sorry if I'm looking down at you, but it really stems from our diet, you know, and what we allow to go into our body, you know. So we always have to be conscious of what we're putting into our temple. And so, you know, you see a lot of the pioneers, man, not doing well, overweight. Look, age catches up to all of us, but it's so important, right? I don't smoke, I don't drink. I try to get my walks in, you know. So, you know, those things, I try to eat healthy. You know, I'm not a vegan, but I do definitely try to stay away from dairy and those kind of things that, you know, you want to be here. You want to be here for a minute. And you don't just want to be here surviving. You want to be here thriving. You want to be here thriving. You want to be here, you know, for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. But people are dying off at an alarming rate. And so we have to take care of ourselves, drink a lot of water, stay away from the sweets and the candies and the cookies and the potato chips and all those things, man, that keep us not our natural selves. So, this is a discussion that needs to be had. I was speaking with Van Silk last week. I gave him a call just to see how he's doing, because as many of you know, he's battling his own battle with cancer and getting chemo and all that. And, he seems to be in good spirits. He seems to be good, but, in our conversation, he was stressing the importance of colon checks, getting colonoscopies, making sure that we're, going to a doctor, getting our blood work every 6 months to a year. That is important. That is important. Me with my own cancer scare, because I was going to the doctor, I'm still doing it. Go to the doctor every 6 months. They caught it, and they caught it early. So they were able to do something about it. And I'm cancer-free to this day. Praise God. But the hip-hop community faces this kind of stigma, this kind of, I ain't letting nobody do that. Whatever that is. Listen, your health is wealth. Your health is wealth. So go get them checkups. If you're over 50, you should be getting a colon check. If you're over 50, you should be getting blood work done. You should be checking to make sure your cholesterol is right. You should be checking to make sure that your blood pressure is on time. But, we're not doing that. We're not doing a lot of that. So we have to take care of that. And then, stress levels, right? Stress levels are at an all-time high. And this is why I made that decision. I'm not going to allow people to get me into a stress, a place of stress. No, you have your opinions, have them. It's a beautiful thing. Have your opinions. But understand I have mine, and, we're seeking to back those up with facts and information, and it is what it is. But stress is also a killer. It's a killer. So take care of yourselves, guys. I'm basically at the crib. Take care of yourselves. Go to your doctor and take care. And so tune in tonight as we celebrate the life of Fly Ty Williams. And, I think I invited Van Silk to come on through. And I'm opening it up to anybody else who knew Van Silk. I mean, not knew Van Silk, who knew Fly Ty, and who wants to come in and share a story about his life. All right, grace and peace, y'all. I will talk to you tonight. See you later. Peace.